Here you go. Here you go, Commander. Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead. Okay, so we'll start with roll call and quorum. Dr. DeAndre Rutues, community engagement here.
Regular Karen Winters, nominator, present.
All right, and we are waiting on Carmelita Earls, our chair, but she will be here shortly. But with the two of the three of us, we have a quorum. So typically before we start our meetings, we like to have a moment of silence and, you know, throw some prayers up too for all that's going on right now. So we'll do that. All right, now, so we're gonna move to public comment. We're gonna do this a little differently. Folks get 2 minutes to express themselves, but we want to make sure that we get the commander the time that he needs so that he can continue doing and fighting a good fight. And so, Commander, we're gonna give you the floor first, then we'll move around for everybody else that may have public comment.
I just want to thank everyone for having me here. My name is Carlin Morse. I'm commander of the 15th District. I've been in this role since August of 2023. And I look forward each and every a month of being here at these meetings because it really shows the community that we're working together in order to solve the public safety issues that surround the 15th District here in the Austin community. I don't want to talk too much because I know that sometimes we can drone on and I want to respect everybody's time. I just want everyone to know that we have some things going on during spring break in Austin, forward spring essentially. And what we're doing is we're working with many of our community stakeholders, including Anchor Chicago, big shout out, Aspire, big shout out, Build, as well as many others in order to bring a way out and something to do for the spring break period of time. We also have our operational plan involving having an increased presence in the community as well to make sure we keep the kids safe. We're going to be enforcing curfews as well as some of the issues involving violence that we see here in the 15th District. We're out to prevent the violence and work with our community partners in order to make that happen. We recently had a couple shootings here on Madison Avenue. I'm pretty sure everyone is aware of. What I can tell you is that in one of those shootings, an individual has been arrested, and in another shooting, we have promising leads. Our detective division is currently working those shootings up. I'll also tell you that those shootings were not random acts of violence, so it does not pose a greater question of public safety in the community. Those shootings were pretty much targeted shootings. Not that anyone deserves that. However, at the end of the day, it was targeted. So therefore, we're pretty firm on doing that investigation. And pretty much that's all I have. I'm not going to make it too long. I'm here to take all questions involving the 15th District. I passed out a brochure for the spring break activities we have. But more importantly, I passed out a brochure regarding our 2025 beat meetings here in the 15th District that we do, as well as a whole list of other activities that we have going on, including safety alerts regarding robbery tips, as well as our programs like youth basketball, our business meeting, and things of this nature. But that's all I have right now. I'll take any questions anyone has regarding crime or anything like that here in the 15th District. And like I said, I'm not going to go on.
Commander, what's the curfew?
The curfew is Tuesday through Friday. It's 10:30, and on the weekends it's 11 o'clock. And the ages I'll get you the exact information because I don't want to misquote it. It's been years since I've written the curfew. I just got to be honest about that. But I'll pull up the municipal code real quick. But it's two designations regarding who that curfew concerns.
I just got 2 comments.
Yes,
one, can I have some of those?
Of course.
A bunch. I mean, you may not have a lot, but just drop some off when you can.
Yeah, I got a stack in my car. I'll get them.
Cool. The other thing is that shooting that took place right here at the store. I was actually there.
Yes.
I was there, and I helped to render aid to the young man, to the officers gang.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was kind of crazy.
You made it.
And he called me about 2 days ago and thanked me because he said he was ready to give up. You know, so yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, he was able to make it, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all. Anybody else have any questions? Anything that you would like to state for public comment?
Tyson Harbor, Anchor, Chicago. We are working in B 33, which we're in, trying to increase the enrollment of people within the B meetings. It's a big important part that you come out and be a part of the B meetings and find out some of the things that we have going on within this B. We can't complain about a problem if we don't come out and be a part of the solutions. Another thing is working with the city of Chicago and the People's Plan. One of the things that I'm working on right now is with NAACP and other partners within the realm of the People's Plan is getting blood trauma kits out to the businesses along this corridor here. So that when an incident does occur, at least someone is informed and know how to utilize the kit to stop the bleeding, to medical get there to provide aid. We will be equipped with these kits to go out and stop the bleed, not only to the businesses, but even the guys that's standing out on the street corner.
Okay.
These are your friends that's
Yeah.
getting injured out
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
you need to be aware
Yeah.
of how to render aid to your friends.
Yeah, the guy right there was the one that was talking through while I was kind of with the bandage. The
Yeah.
other guy that's right there in that car, he was talking them through, keeping them
These kits
alive.
already been
Yep.
ordered.
Mhm.
I ordered these, had the city of Chicago to go ahead and place the order so I can get these kits out as soon as they come. Not only the stop the bleed kits, but also distributing Narcan along this corridor so that businesses will be equipped when something happens to render Narcan and have those available. So that's some of the things that we're working on for just that area of B 33.
Beautiful.
So our curfew hours are gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be 10 o'clock, Sunday through Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday, the weekend hours, it's gonna be 11 o'clock. And it's, minors who are under 17. However, the law does provide for exception. If you're in the company of or a family member who obviously who has the curfew hours, or if you're coming from work, or if you're on an errand, directed by your parents or some kind of proof. So, we don't treat all curfews the same, right? But we like to ensure that the young people are safe. So we do enforce those curfew, statute and curfew violations for the city of Chicago.
Fantastic.
Any other public comment? No. All right. Thank you all. Appreciate you, Commander. Next, we move to the approval of minutes from, we actually tabled at least 3 of our minutes. So I'm going to read a few of them from 12, 1, and 2, and then we're going to move forward to accept those if there are no changes to them. So at our 12/24 meeting, we had all 3 present. The public comment, there was folks that oh, you know what? This was our gratitude banquet. So we had quite a few community members that expressed gratitude, especially for the officers for their assistance with community calls and being responsive to them. We had others that talked about the district council and our efforts in the community. We highlighted organizations that were in the building. We had Anchor Chicago, and he talked about collaboration with the council and community support. He's come and cooked at a number of our meetings. We had Santa present, and they talked about veteran support and community events. We had Roman that talked about Austin Law Library, which is coming in the Austin High School. And then Maria talked about the co-op that they are working on and membership drive with that. The minutes were read and approved. We talk about that. Some updates. We talked about the commissioner vacancy and the resignation of Kelly Presley because she relocated. Then we talked about the 2 candidates that were up. And then we talked about a community conversation on police reform, which was taking place on January 22nd at the Humboldt Park Fieldhouse. It was to engage community around consent decree. I talked about our monthly newsletters, and the YouTube is where you can find the information on our meetings. We talked about the public safety survey that's attached to our our newsletter. Then I brought up the COPA investigations that were ongoing. One that moved to the Bureau of Internal Affairs. That person actually called me today, so I'll talk about that when we do our updates. And then we talked about another incident that happened in May of last year that was near completion, and I don't have an update on that, unfortunately. Our Living Legacy Award recipient was James Shannon. And that's it. We adjourned and moved forward with our celebration. Any changes to meeting minutes from 12/24 that you can remember? No, he's heading out.
No.
Okay. All right. Can you put a motion forward to accept the minutes as read?
Yes, I motion that we accept the minutes from 2 meetings, right? From
No, this one just from 12/24 only.
Okay, from our 12/24 meeting.
All right. I second the motion. All right. So with that, the minutes from 12/24 are accepted as read. And now we move to meeting minutes from January. So in January, looks like we did approve the minutes from, it's fine, it doesn't matter. We had an update about the commissioner vacancy. We once again told folks about the candidates. We talked about the upcoming conversation on police reform again, which was in Humboldt Park. We talked about the Austin Community Action Network meeting, which was taking place January 29th at Urban Essentials. We talked about the CCPSA listening session that was taking place January 24th. This was about traffic stops. We talked about the CCPSA regular meeting, which was January 30th at Malcolm X. We talked about the 2 COPA investigations, which again, we're still waiting on. We talked about our tribunal because we wanted to put forth a hopefully piloted concept that can transform the way that issues, are handled in the 15th district, which we'll talk about that today. We talked about our Know Your Rights workshop, which was a partnership between 11, 14, and 25 that focused on immigration and decertification. These were 2 different ones, one scheduled in February, one scheduled in March. The one in March is unfortunately not happening. We'll talk about that again. We talked about different plans to increase community engagement and visibility. We got feedback from community. They focused on challenges in organizing community cleanups and block clubs due to transient neighbors. They talked about the importance of knowing and supporting neighbors to foster safe and engaged community. I think that might have been Heisen. And then we had suggestions for improving communication and increasing participation in community events. Then we covered General Order 011, which basically is guidance on the department's responsibilities in collaboration with the CCPSA, and then General Order 011-01, which gives which talked about the guidance of powers and duties of the community commission in interacting with the police. We didn't have any votes, and that was the meeting minutes from January meeting. Any suggestions for changes?
No.
All right, so you got to put forth a motion.
A motion that we accept the minutes from our January meeting.
January.
Okay, I don't know the date.
All right, it's fine, just January 25, we'll just go with that.
January
I second. All right, so it has been motioned and seconded, and we are accepting the minutes from January's meeting as read. And now we have to finalize February's meeting minutes. My phone will pull it up. Give me a second, sorry. And it's not pulling up. Okay, hold on. Okay, January's working. Are you heading out? All right, thanks for being here, Commander. We will see you, sir. All right, so unfortunately, February's meeting minutes are not popping up, so I'll actually get those sent to me again. So for now, we will table February's meeting minutes and move it down in the list. If it comes up for us, we'll just come back to it. So with that, we will move to district council member updates. You want to kick us off? Reach out.
Good evening, everyone. So what updates did I have for us? There are several things going on, and I think DeAndre put some of the links on the newsletter.
I did.
So under the consent decree, some of the things that help with community engagement, in particular, police policy, some of their policies. Let me look at the letter, see which policies are coming up. So right now they have, I believe it's 3 policies that are open, and community members have the opportunity to go to the website and make comments on the policies. Now, this is a power that we have that we are unfortunately not utilizing as much as we should. And it could be for several reasons. One is because, you know, they could be kind of intense, like who really understands policies or wants to read through all the policies. And I suggested this before, and we're gonna have to come back to this, but I think it would be in our best interest to like do a training. We can do it inside of headquarters because they have all the equipment there. That way we can also have virtual accessibility. But to kind of take a look at one of the policies, open it up and just kind of go through it so community members can feel comfortable about making comment. You don't have to make comments on the whole entire policy, but this is unprecedented. Like no other city is doing this right now. We have this kind of access, you know, and so we can get to weigh in on what they're doing. And because of the consent decree, they have to take these things into consideration. And so the policies that are open now, and like I say, DeAndre put them on a newsletter, is the firearm pointing incidents, you know, because at one point we were in discussion with the department, and, you know, African-American community members were expressing to them how often they would point their guns. And the department members, the upper brass members, had a hard time believing, like, they don't just go around pointing their guns at people. Like, no, they can very easily point their, whether it's a traffic stop or whatever the case may be. So that is one of the policies that's open, and we should definitely be making comments about that. And then the next one is the community engagement, policy and training development. And then the third one is interactions with persons who are deaf, blind, or hard of hearing. And so I think it would, but these policies are only open until the 31st. So I know we won't get a training in before then, but they are there, and we definitely should, if we have an opportunity to make comments, even if it's just a comment, to go there, especially if you had an incident or know someone who's had an incident, because then they're giving lived experience to the policy.
I got a couple questions.
What's that website?
Oh, you know what? It's on the newsletter. It's inside the news. It's on this. Where you got it now?
Right here, updates.
Okay, so it's but you can go to the CPD website. And
So that link, I did the bit.ly to shorten it up. If you just type that right in, it's gonna take you to the CPD website where those 3 that you can write on are.
okay, and so like I said, they're open until the 31st. And then the other thing that the department is doing, which is also unprecedented, they are having community days, open house days, where community members can go inside the new academy and observe some of the trainings. So there are 2 training days coming up. So this says the Chicago Police Department is excited to offer a unique opportunity for Chicagoans to gain a firsthand understanding of our in-service training through an innovative new program. Participants will observe the instruction officers receive on critical topics, including de-escalation tactics and mental health crisis intervention. Each of these topics are part of the 2025 in-service training program for sworn officers. The initiative is designed to foster transparency, strengthen police community relationships, and provide valuable insight into the training standards that drive professional and accountable policing in our city. The 2 dates are Saturday, April 12th, and they are long days. They are full days. They are from 8 until 4:30 p.m. And then the second date there, and it's the same training on both dates. So you have an option to go on April the 12th, or this is Saturday, April 12th. And then the next one will be on Saturday, April 19th, also from 8 until 4:30 p.m. And did you put the link here too?
Yep.
Okay, so both of those links are there. If you have an opportunity to attend these trainings, I suggest that you do. Because I did at one point, I know Carmelita and I went to the training they did right before we had the DNC here, which was interesting, and I also sat through one of their use of force trainings, which was also very interesting. And we get to, yeah, we had to write a report after we went, but it's okay. So they took heed to some of the recommendations that we made after we witnessed the training, and that's what we're here for. That's what we're supposed to be
Yeah.
doing. And then the other thing is, so I am the nominator, and so we had the privilege of interviewing candidates to fill one of the open commission seats. That seat has been filled. I know her last name is Piamonte. I'm sorry, I can't
Gina.
remember. Gina, thank you, Gina Piamonte. She has not been active as of yet, and to my understanding, she had a death in her family, but she should be coming on April or by May's Community Commission meeting. And so then we will have a full, all 7 members of the Community Commission. And I believe, so how the commission works is 4 of the members, right? Or 3? 3 members have 4-year. 4 members have 4-year terms.
Right.
2 members have 2-year terms. So I think the youth have the 2-year terms. I may be wrong. I think it's 4 and 3.
I thought it was random selection.
No.
No,
No,
okay.
no,
All
no,
right.
like,
I'm wrong then.
Ramel Terry,
They got
Sandra
4.
Wortham,
And driver.
and I guess Piemonte had the 4 years, and then
Oh.
Aaron Gottlieb, Angel,
And
Mario, and Abigail Minor will serve the 2-year terms.
Oh.
And so then we'll be back to trying to find other folks to serve on our.
Actually
commission.
gave the younger people the 4 years. That's just my thought.
I'm sorry, I don't be making.
'Cause they
faces.
would have been-
I be making faces.
It would have been, been the leaders of that thing when it came back around, it would have been, that's just my thought. Anyway, you're, were you?
And then the other
okay.
thing, so we talked about this at our last meeting about us potentially having an oath keeper in the 15th district. However, we were thinking about having a special meeting to discuss this, but I told my co-counsels, I think we should table it because we need more information. Because reading the report, the investigative report, it seems as though the officer is saying that he did this while he was in the military, that he wasn't officially a member. So I can't tell you if he's actually on their roster, if he's been paying dues or any of those things, but it is still a conversation to be had. Because this is something we want to know, because it could be problematic, because he does have incidents, right? He has cost taxpayers some dollars, but we don't even know what that entails. We don't know, are these racially motivated incidents or not? So we want to, as district counselors, we're just not reactionary, and we want to do our due diligence. So we're gonna fact find and then, possibly have that conversation, because they do have a general order now that addresses what happens when officers are affiliated with, I don't take terrorist organizations. What is this? What is
It's
the
a far
language?
right wing.
Right, those organizations. So we will come back to that. And the last thing is, on this Sunday, there's going to, and this is in the 11th district, there's going to be a vigil at 4:00. What is the park? So on Monday, there was an incident.
Beer Garfield.
It ain't gonna be in Garfield?
No, it's not gonna be in Garfield. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. There was an incident in the 11th district. There was a fight in the park, and police were called. I guess the young people scattered by the time the police got there. But to my understanding, the police did not exit their vehicles to do a search to see if everything was okay. And the next day, this was around 7 or 8 o'clock, I believe. And then the next day around 3 p.m., the 16-year-old young lady was found in the park where the incident happened. And so her family is asking for community members to come out and support. And there's going to be a prayer vigil for her. Her name was Kayla Love. And it says Kayla's family will be honoring her life and memory, and they invite the community to join them. And this will be on Sunday, March 23rd at 4 p.m. at Horan Park, 3035 West Van Buren. So if we have their numbers, I'll send you all the flyer to that. But we you know, if we can go out and support, we definitely, you know, would like to do that. And so I think that's all I have for us now at
Okay,
this
let
time.
me see one of those newsletters. All right, so Dr. DeAndre Rutues, the community engagement specialist for our group. I essentially make sure that we have pretty looking newsletters that is a summation of all of our meetings. Generally, I just put some of the most prevalent topics as well as, you know, who came and gave information. So, you know, you won't find everything about the meeting, but you're going to find at least most of the more important things. At the top, I'm the curator of these QR codes and the holder of the information that goes along with it. We have a public safety survey. We've been, you know, wanting folks to fill it out just to see their thoughts from the beginning. So when our time is up, we want to see that we, you know, made a difference, you know, and so we're tracking that way. The other thing is, as you saw the commander here, in our meetings, we typically have officers involved, and folks during that public comment session sometimes don't want to speak out. And if they don't, that's fine, because then you could just contact us with this other QR code. The other thing is I record all of our meetings except for one to this point, but all of them are housed on a YouTube, and right here you can see where I put the link, and you can go to the YouTube to watch any of the meetings if that's something you would like to do. The other thing is, so we did have, and so you don't have to take this unless you want to see Carlton Myers' face. We had this going on the 29th, which was our Know Your Rights workshop, but unfortunately Carlton got busy. So right now we push back maybe a couple weeks. It'll still be at the same location. We're still hoping to have it at Bethel. Still will be facilitated by Carlton, but it will be in April. That date is still to be determined, but we believe it'll be about 2 weeks.
And
So
that's for decertification.
that is for police decertification. That is the process by which an officer who has committed way too many offenses, instead of being able to go to another district or another town or city to become an officer there and do the same thing, they will remove the badge from them and they can no longer be an officer. So we're trying to get folks understanding of that process heightened, so we can start, if we need to, remove some officers. The other thing that I want to focus on is this past 3/11, we had a non-emergency response training. So here in the 15th district, we have 2 days that are specially marked for specific trainings. We have 311, which corresponds with the city's non-emergency response, and then we have 911, which of course is the emergency response. Last 911, we did a gunshot wound training, which again was part of the reason why I was able to help the young man to the police came. Speaking to what Hassan was talking about, that type of training is necessary and valuable. So moving forward, again, these are our signature trainings, if you will. So we'll continue to have something to help the community in the way of emergency response for 911 on 911, whichever day that falls, that is when we're going to have the training. 311 non-emergency response. We just had our first event. That was a we did mental health first aid training. It was a certification in which the folks that took place in the training for the next 3 years, they are mental health first aid certified, which, you know, as it relates to the challenges of mental health, they'll be able to identify and speak to the person and help them through it. They can't diagnose, they're not doctors, they're not helping, but at minimum, when they see challenges occurring, they'll be able to speak to it and help push that person to the proper place. And again, that's something that we're continuing to focus on. Again, 311 and 911 are going to be our signature training days. The other thing is listening tours. We are continuing, like, again, if folks would like for us to come to their block, you know, without police, we can do that. We want to make sure that we're continuing to hear what's going on in the community and try to affect it in any way. The last things I'll say is concerning the 2 complaints. I will reach out to COPA. I meant to do it today, but I was a little busy. I will reach out to COPA to see where we are in the process with the incident that happened in May. To refresh you, young man saw a female officer punch a detained female in the face, and he made a complaint about it. And so we went through the COPA process to see what the outcome is going to be for that officer. I called several times, every time I made an update, and they kept telling me that the process was ongoing. And ultimately, they said it should take 6 months, but we're here in March, and I still haven't heard anything. So I'll make sure I follow up with that and have an update hopefully in the next meeting. And the other one was a complaint in which female from the community said that during the Mother's Day weekend, her daughter was attacked by an officer, I believe female in that situation as well. And she wanted to press charges and move forward. When I reached out to COPA about it, they said that was moved to the BIA. I received a call from the young lady today. She said BIA closed it, a Bureau of Internal Affairs. Sorry, Bureau of Internal Affairs, which is another oversight office, but that's internal to the police. We are still trying to work on getting BIA at one of our meetings, so I'll keep you abreast of that. So we can understand the process with that. Ultimately, they said they had messaged her. She never got a message, and they said they closed the complaint. So now I got to go follow up and figure out what's happening. I don't have a direct BIA contact, unfortunately, but I will get one, and then I'll be able to let you all know about that as well. And so that is it.
Well, good evening, everybody. Sorry that I was a little tardy. I'm a little distracted, so I'm going to table my time.
Copy that. Not a problem. All right.
Can I just say this though, about BIA? And this is why we have COPA, which is the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, because the issue with BIA is, it's hard for the police to police themselves.
Yeah.
And so that's why we have, and I say this all the time, like Chicago truly has more community oversight, I believe, than any other city, between COPA, civilian police board, because at one point we had officers on a police board, but now we have a civilian police board. Now we have, CCPSA, which has the community commission, which has the district counselors, and even the consent decree. The consent decree is the first time in the country where community members are engaged in it. Normally, the Department of Justice just hands the consent decree down, and community members don't take part in that. It's just the judge and the monitor. But fortunately for Chicago, because I am a part of that coalition, that we have all these things going for us. But I have to tell y'all something, in all honesty, I've been hearing some horrible things that's been happening in certain districts. And I almost feel like it's like the more we try to do to help them get right, it's like the more little things they are doing. And I think they're very intentional. And it's like, I don't know, but yeah, this is also the reason why we want to establish a tribunal.
Yeah.
And if we don't do anything else in 15, we definitely want to establish that, even if we could just get a pilot in for the next set to come behind us. But it is also something that can carry over into other districts. And so we are working very diligently. We do have Marcia Thompson Esquire, who is willing, who was a part of the original model for, because COPA does have a mediation program. They had a pilot program, and she was a very instrumental part of that. And I met Marcia Thompson through the coalition, and she is willing for free to train community members on mediation and certifying them to be able to hold mediation. So we really truly want an authentic community-based mediation program. The problem with the other program was it was ran through the Center for Conflict Resolution. And if you went to their website, you didn't see many of us there. And then they wanted community members to come downtown somewhere to, take the mediation. And so over a span of time, I think she said they had been referred like over 200 cases, and they may have only finished 6. And we never got a report to even know what happened with the 6. And so we just feel like as district counselors, this is a power that we can hold. It's like we can have the mediations wherever community members feel safe and comfortable having them, and help to bring some resolution, not only for the community member, but also for the officer. And so it's like we really working hard. So we just kind of grafted some things to how we would like it to look. And we shared it with her, and she texted me and say she's out of the country right now, but she's going to be, meeting with us when she get back, because we really want to this summer get the training set up for community members that want to participate in it. So we can just start putting it together, because everything is trial and error right now. because this district council is still, even though it's 2 years in, it's still very new. We're still trying to establish what we should be doing as district councilors.
Yeah.
They only give us so much authority to do anything, and we just feel like this is something, especially if we want it to be for 15, but we just believe that this is also something that could work in other districts as well. So we would definitely keep you all, informed as we move forward with, what that will possibly look like. So.
Yeah. I do have one last update because speaking of COPA as well as our tribunal, we did have Daisha Muhammad come into our last meeting. She spoke about COPA's community mediation program that they're putting together. And I'm just bringing that up because we actually have a input session on April 2nd, and it'll be from 6 to 7:30 at Legler Library, 115 South Pulaski. By consent decree, there has to be a community mediation process. And Daisha was brought into COPA to lead the development of it. And also by consent decree, there has to be community input into the process. And so that's open for anybody that lives in area 4. So that's 11, 15, and 10. And so again, that'll be April 2nd, 6 to 7:30 at Legler Library, which is 115 South Pulaski. And then that is all.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next section of our meeting is to focus on our speaker here. We have Mr. Joseph Green, and he's with Westside Health Authority. Oh, you want to do? Okay.
Yeah.
Before we do that, sorry. Before we do that, so this has been a long time coming. So here in the 15th district, we make sure that folks are recognized because they need to be, especially for those that are doing the work of the mighty. And we always want to highlight people, man, that others, seem to overlook, and so in this role and with our given position, we were like, man, we're going to find some people that are like living legends in our community that's been, like, again, doing heavy lift, and they don't usually have a lot, but they got a lot of heart, man. And, we can't say enough superlatives about this brother right here, High Son with Anchor Chicago. You know what I mean? Of course, he got a lot of heart. He's a big guy. But, so we want to present him with the Living Legacy Award on behalf of the 15th District. The reality is that the only way that change comes is when you lead by example. So this certificate of recognition of appreciation is in grateful recognition of your community service and dedication. And we hereby present you, Hyson Harper, with this certificate of recognition for your service, leadership, and commitment on behalf of the 15th District Council.
Wait, I'm take a picture. Got to take a picture. Got my shirt on today.
Oh, let me get one more.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so not only do we give a Living Legacy Award to community members, we also give another award. So every other month, we also give an award to some deserving officer. So it's called our Above and Beyond Award.
Mhm.
So.
And I meant to actually tell Commander about Anna Malarski. She's in my bag as well. So yeah. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So with that, now we'll move to our speaker, Joseph Green, who's with Westside Health Authority, and he'll be talking about the Freedom Defense Center that will be located in the new Aspire Center over where Emmett School used to be. And we're excited because this is an opportunity for folks that are just as involved in our community to have resources right here in the community, but also help them get some work when they face challenges because of their background. So with that, Mr. Joseph Green, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your work, and then go into the Freedom Defense Center.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the invite, and I thank you for allowing me to come and speak today. So my name is Joseph Green. I have been with Westside Health Authority since 2018. I like to tell this story because it's part of my journey. I've lived on the West Side pretty much all my life. I'm like 5 minutes from here.
Okay.
And I grew up right on Lockwood and Madison, right across from Red Snapper. So
Mm.
this community and going to marathon, because I was like, where's 50? And where's 50-44? And I'm like, 50-44. So I walked that way. I said, no, the evens on this side. And so my father, I started at I See Stars, right? I See Stars is a non-for-profit organization that helps with tech.
Mm.
And so I was working out in Schaumburg, working with a lot of different people that didn't look like me, but I wasn't content and I wasn't happy. And so my father called me one day and he asked me, you know, how did I feel about working and being in a different space, helping people? And so I was like, yeah, that sounds interesting. And so he told me, he said, well, I want you to call this guy from Westside Health Authority and have a conversation with him because they're looking for a reentry coordinator. So I'm like, well, I don't have a background. I don't, I ain't, I ain't got no background. I ain't never done like, he's like, you'll be perfect for it. And so he was working at West Care down at Sheridan Correctional Facility where he was the senior counselor talking to men every single day, trying to empower them to get them ready for coming home. Because reentry doesn't start when they get home. It actually starts the day that they first get inside of the prison. And so I started at 2018, going down to Sheridan, going to all these different correctional facilities and really connecting with the men and talking about purpose, talking about developing a growth mindset, but really making sure that when they came home, that they understand that there's an accountability. The community needs you. The community needs our men. We need our people to stand up and come together, right? And so through that process, I learned about, not creating resumes, but helping people to get jobs, right? And so I would build a rapport with them through that process of just helping them find work, connecting with different organizations on the west and the south side and throughout the city to get resources to help them with employment. And so in 2022, I was promoted to Director of Workforce and Job Development, and I've held that position now for the past 2.5 years. Corridor Ambassador Program, where you've seen that just recently ended, I was the director over that program for the Chicago Avenue corridor, and then we had a Madison corridor, but we didn't have them for the whole tenure in the 15th district. We actually had them in the 11th district. So they were down in Garfield Park trying to build, but the crime that's going on down at the other end where it's a lot of drug trafficking. So I can only have my people out there to empower them with the information, empower them with the resources and help them. And so last year, we got connected with the Freedom Defense Center, the Public Defender's Office. And so they came with this idea of a Freedom Defense Center. And so they already have one on the south side. It hasn't really manifested, but now it's in flourishing. And so they want to partner with an organization on the west side so that we can be able to empower those individuals who have cases to find out what's this gap, what's going on with the public defenders. And so what started out as just an idea is now a collective because the Freedom Defense Center is on its way to the Aspire Center. And so the Aspire Center is a workforce innovation center with partners of Westside Health Authority, Austin Coming Together, BMO Harris Bank, JARC, which is just the Jane Addams Center, where they do workforce development. And then all of our partners, all of our resources poured into this one building. Should I give the announcement of the day? Can I do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we are going to have our grand opening coming soon. I don't know if I'm supposed to, but she was at the same meeting I was. So I will announce it Juneteenth. We're going to have our grand opening.
Oh, okay.
And so on Freedom Day, we're going to, we're going to come and we're going to show out. The one thing I say about the Aspire Center, and a lot of people in community might not know this, the first dollars for the Aspire Center came from community members. They came from people in the community that said, what are we going to do about Emmett? What are we going to do to change that building? At that time, schools were getting closed down left and right. And now we have all these charter schools that are doing great work. But you had this just franchise of people having them to go to this place, gangs connected with this place. And so it changed up the the whole school process and where people are going. The Freedom Defense Center is an idea that we're making for resources to be able to answer those questions. What is the public defender's office doing? Why is this individual in need of certain things? So it's accountability. There's an idea, because we were in the Cook County Jail, and I'm gonna talk about the different planning circles, that the police work with the public defender's office to lock people up.
Yeah,
Right?
facts, yeah.
And a lot of people
Unreal.
feel that way,
Unreal,
right?
yeah.
A lot of people have that mindset. But I am here to say, right, because I wasn't gonna say it in front of him because I did feel away, right? I've worked with him on events, but here right now, just after hearing, because I didn't know what I was stepping into today, right? I understand what's going on now. And so that job of community is to empower them with the information and let them know what's going on. And so we did a big meeting at the I can't pronounce it, refractory.
The refractory.
We were at the refractory, right? We did it on one of the coldest days, the first cold day of last year in November. We had a huge turnout. We fed a lot of people. And so we got everybody together to really ask questions and really have open dialogue. And so out of those 60 people, we picked 6 people from the community who either were invested in the community, worked in the community, but they had to be from Austin, right? To have a voice at the table to be able, or if you were justicely impacted. So we have some youth, we got some seniors, we got some people that's working in the community, and I have the privilege of hosting the event, but bringing all parties to the table. So it's us, the Cook County Public Defender's Office, and then we are partnering with a company called Partners for Justice. They're based out of New York City. And so coming together, they allowed us with a small grant to be able to host events in Austin. So we are using Austin, facilities, thank you, to host these events. We're using caterers from Austin so that we're showing them as well. And so my job has been to really just promote it because it's really a secret. We just want to pop out and just let people know what's going on once we get everything together. One of the things that we've been doing is we've been meeting every month since December. And similar in these meetings, we're just coming up with the whole decree, like everything, like what is it going to stand for? What does it mean? And so some of it I can't share right now because they're still in the planning process of putting it together. But they will share space with Westside Health Authority on the second floor of the Innovation Center.
Okay.
So we'll be on one side doing workforce development, employment, and those are most of these flyers that we have there. But Legal Aid Chicago is also going to be in that building as well.
Okay.
And so for those people who have cases who are already locked up, we have resources to help them. But those individuals who are fighting cases, whose families may need help. A lot of times the families can't get connected to their loved ones in jail so that they can find out what's going on. What is the case? What is going on? We are doing also inside service, which we started last month. And so we've been going to Cook County Jail in the men's correctional facility, as well as the women's correctional facility. So I've been in the men's circle. We sit in a circle with some men, and I'm talking about some smart, educated brothers that you like, why is you up in here? Because you made this mistake. And then what's crazy is that you got guys in there 4-5 years. This is the Cook County fighting cases,
right?
And can't go to the prison. The prison is better because I've visited there. Prison is better than Cook County Jail. You know what I'm saying? So they
right,
but what I'm saying is, none of them no good. But what I'm saying is, if you're talking about the county and being hashed up and being locked up in that, and just there, you know what I'm saying? The movement is very minimal, but they have programs on the inside that these guys were able to be a part of to share and talk about what's going on, to talk about, you know what I'm saying, what's working with the public defender's office and what isn't. Right now, I can just share that the men have had more problems with connecting with the public defender. A lot of times they come in and they just don't care. I was gonna curse, but I'm not, but they don't care, right? And they just throw it to the side. Some of them are saying, hey, come in, how are you doing, right? Ask me how I'm doing. Find out what's going on. Listen to what I'm saying, right? And take something what I'm bringing to the table so that you can understand my case. Because a lot of them, they know their case. Also being able to study and learn. You've been in there 4-5 years and you can't get certain books, right? And so we have his name is Emmanuel Andre. This brother is based out of New York, but he is one of the executives for the Cook County Public Defender's Office. And so he's taking notes, making sure that we are on the same page collectively to just really listen. Because there's a gap, there is a problem. And so this freedom defense is, I'm not saying it's going to solve the problems. I'm not saying it's going to change the world, but it will allow for open dialogue
Yes.
for community and people and the public defender's office to be held accountable. And so we got like 2 months left. We just had a meeting. We got another meeting on the 9th. I think we're gonna have it at AAA BNA. If not there, we'll probably have it at Front Porch Arts where we did the CLF. So we'll probably have it there. Miss Stewart is a great asset. But when we move in, they're moving in as well. And so there's going to be a mural design, community mural that's going to be that's already been designed from the brothers from the South Side, but it's all about Austin. That building is about Austin, the resources about Austin. And we just want to make sure that police are here, but the public defender's office is here. Their job, if they are appointed to somebody, is to make sure that they can push that case and they can get them the help that they need. And so that negative thought process that we all have when we're dealing with law enforcement, or when we're dealing with the public defender's office, I didn't even want to build with them. I didn't even want to, my CEO says, hey, I need you to coordinate this and I'm going to do my job, right? But I don't want to do it, right? I didn't want to do it. But as I build with those individuals, those people that are in that circle,
right,
and then the people that are teaching. So we have a teacher's name is Dr. Lance Williams, and he's a gang professor. And so he is going in with the open dialogue and we're throwing stuff on the board and just really letting the people come up with it. We have a voice as well at the table, but I want the people that we selected to be that voice and flesh this thing out. And it's gonna grow and build as we continue to find out more. But the main thing I wanna make sure that everybody understands is that we are holding people accountable. We're making sure that we don't want anybody to get locked up, right? But if you've done something, let's handle that. Let's find out the steps to take care of that, and allow them to do their job and kind of change the way that we think about it, right? And that doesn't happen overnight. That happens with time.
Yeah.
That happens with giving people grace, but it also happens with having that open dialogue where people get to sit at the table together and have a conversation like men and women and talk about things and really find out how we can bridge the gap. Because you got bad in everything. You got bad in organizations, you got bad in police, you got bad in politics, you got bad in everything.
Right.
And so we can't group everyone together and say, this is what this is when you know you have good people there.
Yeah.
My other point was in the women's jails, which I didn't go. I just wanted to stay with the men. The women, when they were dealing with the public defenders, it was a great relationship. The women, the people that the women were dealing with were more compassionate, more understanding. And how do we change that, right? There is a game, right, where people, if you got overworked in all of these your cases and you just got a new caseload and you're trying to do this work, you might push people to the wayside, but your job says that you shouldn't do that. Your job says that you need to treat everybody the same and hear everybody out. And so the only way we change that is by being a part of it, getting in tune, and then also just really, speaking our mind, speaking up. So I should have spoke up and said why he was here. Because he might not know how I feel on my mindset, what is on my dean, right? I've been living in this community for a long time and I've seen the rise, the fall, the rise again. I think the businesses and having more businesses with people that look like us is the most impactful thing.
Yeah.
But just having police sitting out here and then the crime still happening, it don't really make no sense because when I heard about the shooting, I was like, well, the police always out here, you know what I'm
They ain't
saying?
been out here in a minute.
Police haven't been
Yeah,
here
they
for
ain't been in a
while.
minute, yeah.
Police aren't
Since
sitting
they,
in-
Yeah, since maybe
They-
October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ending of
Yeah.
October.
Yeah.
Police were moved from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a way to get that presence back?
They be out in the morning.
It's, so dealing with this area right here is a little different. And it was a reason why the police was removed from here. You can't just sit a police car there and think that's the solution. That's not the solution.
Exactly.
The shootings that happened here, they were targeted shootings from the
Mhm.
internet beef.
Mm.
And the thing is, you have to be more in tune with the community and the people in the community to understand the dynamics of it. And it's a little bit more complicated than most things. But we're working to try to tune it down a little bit. And unfortunately, someone lost their life,
Right.
you know, but yeah, we've been doing a lot of work there to try to tune it down some.
Yeah.
And try to deal with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes having the police just sit in the location, it becomes as to now. You have the police sitting there. And with the way laws have changed. Loitering law don't really exist anymore. So now you become babysitting for what is potentially illegal crime. So you have to
Mhm.
figure out ways to
Yeah.
make it work. You know?
And to the point, Hyson always talk about this need for all of the community to be a part of it, you know,
We
join
all
the
have
beat
to be a
meetings.
part.
Now that I'm right here, I'm solely focused on business. Like I said, I'm a business psychologist. I'm gonna be going up and down this whole thing, trying to figure out how we're gonna pull the businesses
And that's
together.
what we're doing now.
We working
We're
on that too.
working on building
Yeah.
up the business corridor in this section
Yeah.
right here. So I'm part of Anchor, but I'm the beat facilitator for here. I sit chair for criminal justice for NAACP and prison reform for NAACP too.
Yes, sir.
I've been living here for 43 years. I used to have some activity in this area that may not be so becoming back in the day.
Likewise.
But, you know, this, when I say my community, this 100% my community. I can walk outside and whoever out there, they go know me and say hello to me. And if it's something going on, they go respect me enough to push it away.
Yes, sir.
You know, so it takes a lot of dynamics. It's more than just the police. It takes community. It takes organizations to work together.
Yes, sir.
It takes businesses. It takes it all in order to build up a positive.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
This
just wanna
work.
say too. Commander Morris is good people. He didn't got it before. He didn't been in our meetings and Kenneth Cook went in on them and they had
Same
dialogue.
thing, actually.
They had dialogue.
Talked about this car
So
park right here.
if you had a
Same
said something,
thing.
he was gonna
Yeah,
hold
he-
it up. He was
Photographer,
gonna-
he a real
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, he would have.
More real person.
Yeah, he would have engaged with you.
Not just him, somebody else had some issue too, and he took the lady that was saying something happened.
She had
and
got
went into the station.
something had got stolen out of her car, and he was like, "Look, just come to the station with me."
He was
Took her
like,
right to
let's
the
go
station.
take care of that right now. So he would, and that's important too. Like we do have to engage with them. And like you said, we can't, and yeah, it's some bad messed up apples. And I would curse
For
too
sure.
about that, right? But at the same time, it's some of them that really keep them uniform to do what they are supposed to
Yeah.
do. And we are very fortunate in 15 because
Yeah.
we hear some absolute horror stories. And like they said,
Yeah.
the 15th district has a good community engagement. You know, they got the response team, they got the hip hop Tuesday, they got, they say we have one of the best, if not the best caps in the city. You know, as a matter of fact, we keep harping on these strategic plans that they do, and we like, what y'all doing with it? But somebody told me, they was like, Ray, well, I have a friend who works in a department, and she said 15 has one of the best strategic plans. Now we just got to get them to implement it. So, you know, we are very fortunate in 15, and we can work with our department. You know what I'm saying? Whereas some communities,
Yeah.
they can't. It's
Yes,
like,
ma'am.
so
Yeah.
we have that
Put a
time
little something
advantage.
on your mind. I've been locked up 15, 33, 15, 33, 297 times. Growing up right here, right? My house been raided over 10 times at that same district. To show you the change from me from that person to who I am today, and honestly saying, I work with 15. It's a dramatic change, bro.
Absolutely.
And out of that 100 and sometimes, I'm gonna be honest with you, for somebody to be arrested that much, it had to be some BS in the game.
Yes,
Yeah, on the real.
And that was, sometimes I was locked up 5 times in a day. From everything, none of it was, 90% of it was stuff I wasn't even doing, bro. I've been locked up for prostitution. I ain't selling nothing but some narcotics, right?
right.
Come on, man. What they
And
Hey.
just how petty it was, you know?
Oh,
Just to
man.
show you how things have changed, bro. And how the difference in the commanders, the difference in how policing is within 15. Not to say, bro, I
Right.
haven't gotten into it.
Right.
Still to this day, even though I work with 15 closely,
Right.
with some officers in 15, because guess what? You're not gonna treat my people that way.
Right.
But when those incidents do occur, guess what? It's not that I can't I walk in that station and I address the problem, and guess what? I see results immediately. Versus from before, we was on Chicago Avenue, bro. I got my ass, excuse my word, got my ass whooped out here plenty of times. Got thrown in Columbus Park Lagoon, bro. And drug out of there with handcuffs still on. And nothing done with it.
Right. Right.
So we have grown not only in the 15th district, but when it comes to the dissent decree, to having police accountability on a different level now. Because, bro, I put in complaints with folks and nothing.
Right.
Nothing. Now we're starting to see results. And one of the things is, when I say community has to be involved, we have to go out and support these efforts. Because right now, we're in a critical time.
Yes, it is.
Especially with this dissent decree. To be honest with you, we don't know how long any of this is gonna even exist,
We don't.
but nobody talks about that part. And that's the reality of it. It won't exist if we don't support it
Right.
and go out and show. Other communities are coming out and supporting it. We have to go out and support it. And as our duties are, being parts of large organizations, is to push this information out to our communities.
Absolutely.
Because we can stop all of the madness. Guess what? If we push the information out with the dissent decree, we're educating them on their rights, educating them on the laws. Guess what? They'll never have to make it to the public defender's office. By the time you make it to the public defender's office, you got a problem.
I live here, so we can.
And it's a bigger problem than
Got whiskey.
a public defender can help you, because he don't have the invested time that it takes to sit down and literally look at it.
Right.
Because his case file is overwhelming.
Right.
And he's looking towards, or she's looking towards moving to the next step. And that's getting themselves in the state's attorney's office or in a private practice or somewhere else.
Yeah.
So therefore, guess what? It's not their lot.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not their child or nothing like that. They're gonna do what they can just to push these cases along and push the bare minimum to get it through, because guess what? I got 5,000 cases here.
Man.
100 and something cases here.
So what would be a solution for that?
The
Yeah, let
solution
me,
for that is.
can I do this real quick? So,
Before it get there.
look, I live here, so we can stay here and have a discussion, but I wanted to go ahead and, end our district council meeting. And we can just keep, the next thing we have to focus on is votes. We have no votes to take. And then the very last thing is just the announcement of our next regular meeting. Yes,
I just wanna make. I think you did it, if I'm not mistaken, just change the quorum, just for the record, make.
oh,
yeah.
yeah, let's do that, yeah.
Well, we have to,
Just make a motion that the quorum is going to change since I arrived late, since.
okay, so I make a motion to change the quorum from 2 district council members to 3 council members, to include Carmelita Earls, our chair.
okay, second.
All right, it's been motion and second, and we move to change our quorum from 2 to 3, to include Carmelita Earls, chair. The other thing is I actually have to make a motion to table our minutes from February because
Yes.
I didn't do that. So either one, you want to make a motion to table our February minutes until
Make a
next.
motion to Table our February minutes to our April meeting.
All right.
Second.
All right, it's been motioned by Counselor Winters and second by Counselor Earl. So we will move our February meeting minutes to April's meeting. And then the last thing we have is the announcement of our next regular meeting, and we are going to go on some community garden tours. As of right now, we are planning from April to September to be outside, and our first garden that we are going to visit is on April 17th. So that's 4/17. We're going to do 5:30. That will be at Dolly's Garden. And that is on she hold on. I left it upstairs. Damn it. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. It's
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's right upstairs. I wrote it on a piece of paper and left it upstairs. So it's at Dolly's Garden. I will give you all the address as soon as we get it. It'll be actually on the newsletter, but then we'll also have our flyer, and that'll go out as well. And that is again 4/17 at 5:30. And so with that, I make a motion to end our meeting at 7:28.
A second.
All right. It's been motion and second to end our regular meeting at 7:28. What was it? What was it? All in favor? There you go.
Aye.
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 All right, y'all. Thanks so much.